Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k 8th edition reveal video. Today we will be looking at faction focus Imperial Knights. So I have a pretty mixed opinion on Imperial Knights in general, because I generally believe that super heavies and gargantuan monstrous creatures should only really exist in Apocalypse, and by having them in the main 40k game you really just make units like infantry a waste of time. At least that's the case in 7th edition, and so having an entire faction of these things is, you know, I don't really agree with it. And I remember reading a really good comment on the internet recently, which was, playing Imperial Knights is always if you're playing as them, you always win massively or you get completely owned. And what it comes down to is, if you don't tell your opponent that you're bringing a pure knight army, then he won't bring anywhere near enough weapons to deal with them, and you'll just completely crush him and smash face. However, if you do the gentlemanly thing, the fair thing, and you have a balanced game, and you tell your friend, I will be bringing an entire army of super heavies, I will be bringing my Imperial Knight army, then he will turn up to the game with a million melter guns and las cannons, and then you'll just get completely wasted. So I remember, and I've spoken to a lot of people who have Imperial Knight armies, pure Knight armies, and they do say it's actually quite unsatisfying. Because, like I said, you either have a hollow victory because you smash your opponent and you can see the look on his face, he's just not really enjoying it, or you get your ass handed to you and it doesn't feel like you even had a chance. So that's what it's like in 7th edition. In 8th edition, obviously we have this whole anything can wound anything mechanic. So knights immediately aren't quite as scary straight away. But let's get into some specific Knight 8th edition reveal goodness right now. Okay, so straight up, they have 24 wounds. They have 24 wounds. That's the most wounds we've seen on a model to date. Secondly, and most interestingly, they have toughness 8 with a 3+ save. So that's kind of interesting, because that's only as tough as a Leman Russ. And this confirms my theory that sort of toughness 8 is going to be like the sort of cap, the highest you can go, with only very, very few units having toughness 9 or 10. I think toughness 9 will be the real cap. And the way they represent something being more durable is by them having fuckloads of wounds. But like an Imperial Knight only has a 3+ save. That's the same as Leman Russ. I mean, what does that mean for Chimeras? Are they going to have a 4+ save? A 5+ save? It seems a bit weird that a Chimera has the same durability as flak armor or carapace armor. Scout Sentinels undoubtedly are going to have a 5+ save, and they're only going to be toughness 5. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. So I don't know. I think the Imperial Knights, what we're seeing here is they also have a 5+ invulnerable save, just before we forget, which is good. A really tough unit, but I think what we're seeing here is kind of a limitation on, I'm trying to think how to put this, kind of limitation of Games Workshop transferring vehicles from having their own set sort of system, the AV system, and transferring them onto a strength and toughness system. We're kind of starting to see the problem with that, the limitations. And what does that mean for the Imperial Guard? Well, like we said, it means that a lot of Imperial Guard vehicles are going to be kind of easy to kill. I mean, think about it. You've got the new. Let's assume, and this is a pure assumption, guys. Let's assume that a Chimera is toughness 6. If we base it off the Dreadnought, toughness 6 with a 4+ save and about 7 wounds, roughly. That means if you've got one of these new units of Primaires for me, Marines shooting at them, the Primaires means are going to hit you on a 3+, but then they're only going to wound you on a 5+, and they're going to reduce your armor save to a 5+. So whereas before with the Chimera, where we had vehicles that could just shrug off small arms fire on its front armor plating, the whole point of the Chimera was it could shrug off small arms if you kept the front armor facing forward against the enemy weapons. We've gone from having that level of durability on our transports down to, well, it's like having armor 9. And sure, we're going to have loads of wounds, but it's, it just doesn't work. So I know this seems like I'm going off topic. I'm not really talking about Imperial Knights, but that's because this has much wider implications for what, much wider implications for specific guard issues and problems we're going to have. And it's something that's really been playing on my mind recently, is that I feel like vehicles are going to struggle in this new edition. I can't make my mind up. The more Games Workshop reveals, the more I flip and flop. And I've been concerned about infantry being, dead because of battle shock. If it now turns out that the majority of guard vehicles are just going to get bolted down to death, what does that leave us with? I mean, what you've got to understand is that if the Leman Russ, our hardest, toughest vehicle, is going to be toughness 8, that means the majority of our vehicles are going to be toughness 7 and below. And like I said, that means bolt weapons, basic small arms of majority of enemy factions, which are strength 4, are going to be wounding us on 5+. The majority of them are going to really be reducing our, majority of weapons in general will be reducing our armor save. So I just don't know. I'm after the Ashman faction focus got me hyped. I'm really starting to have a tough time seeing where Imperial Guard are going to shine. I'm really having a hard time seeing that. I feel like we are potentially just going to be weak at everything, which would really upset me. I mean, we've put up with this fucking weakness for so long. I mean, am I being pessimistic, guys? Am I bathing in the salt? Am I mining the salt on industrial levels? Maybe I am. Maybe I need to order a bulk batch of small, tiny violins that I can play for myself. Maybe. But let's bring the tangent away from the Imperial Guard. Let's focus on the next part of the article. Because obviously we've got to talk about how we're going to kill these monstrosities, which are Imperial Knights. It's all well and good moaning about the Guard, but let's talk about how we're going to kill these motherfuckers. Okay. So the toughness 8, 24 wounds, 3+ save, 5+ invuln. Okay. I don't see that 5+ invuln coming into play a lot, because it's only going to be against things like las cannons that they're really going to be using their 5+ invuln. And that's better. When you think about it, we used to have Imperial Knights with a 4+ invuln, and if they were in that crazy formation, they got a 3+ invuln. That's so they are. We can bring them down, guys. We can bring them down. Obviously because it's such a big model, the more wounds it takes, the worse the knight gets. So when it's on 4 wounds, it hits on a 3+ and both close combat and long range. Also, it moves 12 inches, which is a pretty tasty move. When it's below 12 wounds, it goes down to a 9-inch move and a 4+4+ for hitting. And when it's on 1 to 6 wounds, when it's on its last legs, it only moves 6 inches, which is pretty cripplingly slow. And it's only got a 5+5+. So what I'm telling you here, guys, is that these knights aren't actually going to be all that tough. If you can just concentrate fire, las cannons, autocannons doing D3 wounds, absolutely everything. If you know the age of the heavy bolter, where you know these things, you can still wound with heavy bolters on a 5+. Every heavy weapon you've got, you should be slinging into these things because they will drop surprisingly quickly. Think about it. You chuck 4 or 5 heavy bolters at one of these things. Well, they're only getting a 4+ save versus your heavy bolters. That's it. You could really grind these guys down. So am I worried about Imperial Knights? No. No, not at all. I feel like, if they don't close the distance with these things, I really feel like we can just shoot the shit out of them. Even though I can see a lot of instances where mass lasguns just chip off the last couple of wounds from these guys. I can see that happening. Right. But what kind of hurt are we going to expect from these guys? What kind of firepower are they going to be putting out? Thermal cannon. Heavy D3. So it fires D3 shots. Interesting. Okay. Thermal cannon used to be a large blast. Now it's only doing D3 shots. Interesting. Strength 9. AP -4. D6 damage. And when in half range, 2d6. Pick the highest. So it's a big fuck off melter gun, as we know. I'm not that scared about that. I'm not that scared about that. It does go up to D6 shots against units with 5 or more models. But, which is every guard squad ever, because guard only come in squads of 10 or more, pretty much. So, it does mean against guard that we're doing D6 shots, but when you think about it, the average shots is going to be 3, which means it's going to be hitting you with 2. And it's going to wound you with 2, fair enough. But whoop-de-doo, you killed 2 guardsmen with your thermal cannon? I don't give a shit. Like, that's 2 guardsmen. Is that even enough to force a battle shock test onto us? I don't think so. I don't think we need to worry about that. If commissars are helping us, I don't think we need to worry about that at all. So, yeah. Now, the close combat mechanic, the Reaper Chainsword, we're just talking about its other damage capabilities. This Reaper Chainsword does do a flat 6 damage, but again, this motherfucker's only got, 4 attacks in close combat, which means at most he'll just destroy 4 guardsmen with his Reaper Chainsword. On average, he'll destroy 2 guardsmen with his thermal cannon. Go ahead, buddy, is all I can say. This is looking pretty promising for an infantry side of, an infantry army. I can imagine, guys, I can really seriously imagine Imperial Guard tournament-winning armies just being made up of rank after rank of guardsmen armed with heavy bolter and grenade launcher. I can see that. I can really see that. And this, it's like a Lord of the Rings. Is this it, Saruman? Is this all you can conjure? It's like, is this it, Imperial Knights? Is this all you can conjure? I can bring this down. Now, stomps have been nerfed. We don't know specifically how stomps have been nerfed. I'm going to tell you that straight away. But what we have been told is that no longer will, on a roll of a 6, just destroy your character. No more. So, stomps will exist. They're now called Titanic Feet. They are going to be good, but they will not simply remove models from play. Straight up. Straight up. So, again, a boost for us. If we've got, characters nearby, he can't just stomp. Now, minor mention, the Thunder Gauntlet, Thunderstrike Gauntlet, that can pick up, if it gets into combat with one of your vehicles, the knight will pick it up, and if it destroys it, will pick it up and throw it at someone else. So, if you see a knight running towards you and it's got a big gauntlet, a big power fist, try not to let it get near your vehicles. If it's got a chainsaw, just don't give a shit, whatever, it'll just kill your vehicle, but in general, try and keep these things away from your vehicles, which will be hard to do, considering that Imperial Knights can just walk over infantry units, and they can simply leave combat while still being able to fire all their weapons. So guys, no more can we just get a big blob of 50 conscripts and slam them into one of these Imperial Knights. We can't do it, because they'll just choose to ignore us. So that does present some interesting tactical problems for us, guys, because he will, if a savvy Imperial Knight player, let's say he's got 3 or 4 or maybe 5 of these bad boys coming down at you, they'll just walk over our front line of conscripts. They'll just walk to where they want to be, and we'll be firing at them. We'll bring 1 or 2 of them down, but if they want to get somewhere, they're going to get there. Simple as that. Now the last thing I want to talk about, the very last thing, is this super heavy detachment. Basically, guys, Games Workshop have released a detachment that allows people to field, of any army, including ourselves, any army can now field a detachment of 3 to 5 Lords of War and be battle forged. You even get 3 command points for doing so. The super heavy detachment is 3 to 5 Lords of War. Restrictions: all units must be from the same faction. Command benefits plus 3 command points. That makes me sad. That makes me really pissed, guys. Really, really pissed, because I don't care what people tell me. That means Wraith Knight spam is back. You know, Storm Surge spam is back. Imperial Knight spam is definitely, it's never went away, but it's definitely back. But that's my big one, though. Because you know Wraith Knights are going to be fucking amazing. You just know it. GW has a hard on for the Wraith Knight. You know the Wraith Knight's going to be good. And now, you know, that fucking guy, win at all cost players, you know, we all know them. We've all been them ourselves. You know, we've all got a trait of that guy in us. But, you know, regularly, you will have at least one person in every gaming group who's maybe just lazy, maybe doesn't have the time to collect a full proper army, but they'll just turn up and they'll be like, here, my 5 Wraith Knights. There, my 5 Wraith Knights at 1500 points. Here they are. Oh, you can't do anything about it. You know, you just know that's going to be the case, guys. And yeah, sure, I can lasgun them down, but realistically, let's talk about this. How easy is it going to be to bring down 5 Imperial Knights or 5 Wraith Knights unless you're ready for it? And again, I think with this super heavy detachment, this is what I'm going to sign off on, guys. Games Workshop said they don't want it to be an all or nothing battle anymore. Well, motherfuckers, you just gave people the keys to having it being an all or nothing battle anymore. Because that is what's going to happen, Games Workshop. I'm sorry, you've made a real fuck up here. You don't want entire armies of Imperial Knights to get destroyed. But the problem is whenever you have entire armies of super heavies, it's always going to be an all or nothing situation. Whenever you have entire armies of really fucking OP units, and if you're not prepared for them, they'll destroy you. You're going to have one-sided battles because, again, you're going to have this in 8th edition now. I'm turning it with my super heavy detachment. Okay, I'm turning it with my 500 metal guns. I know I'm exaggerating. My 20 metal guns. There you go. Imperial Knight players aren't going to be happy. Anyway, let's not complain anymore. Going through this quick summary, guys. You don't want to spout off too much bullshit. Quick summary. Imperial Knights, they look tough, but they don't look like they're doing a lot of firepower. At least the thermal cannon looks a bit weak. Have to wait to see what the other Knights are like. But Knights themselves don't look super, super powerful in terms of damage output, but they're still hard as nails. So, you know, we're still going to have that problem of all or nothing battles. In terms of looking outside the box and how it affects Imperial Guard, I think we should be worried for our Chimeras. We should be worried for our Hellhounds, our Sentinels. It's really looking like those vehicles are only going to have a 4+ save, toughness 5, 6 or 7. Small arms are going to be really, really deadly to us now. And that's a problem for the Guard army, because it means a lot of our vehicles are going to be rolling on 5+ saves, and to me it just doesn't seem to make sense. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think about Imperial Knights. Am I being too salty? Am I on the ball or am I off the ball? Of course, guys, your comments always help me, so please comment as much as possible. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.